Hello, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. This is episode, I always forget to count.
6.
This is episode 6 of the Pepper Craft podcast. We are coming to you from Paradise, Indiana, and we're going to tell you all about our crafts.
I'm Pam Pepper.
Oh, I'm Sarah Jane. We're a mother-daughter duo, and we make craft podcasts because we like watching them on YouTube.
Because she lives in California and I live in Indiana, so we miss each other.
Yeah, we have to watch our own craft podcasts when we're homesick for one another. And we're starting with, I made a list, finished objects. You got one handy?
Yes. I went to the Kate Knitting at the State Retreat this past fall that was run by the Leading Men Fiber Art. And one of the things I bought was this yarn, which is named Turkey Run, which is the name of a state park in Indiana that my husband and son actually had an adventure in once. So I made them both hats so they could remember their adventure. So they both got Turkey Run hats. One of the dyers from Leading Men Fiber Arts used to live by Turkey Run. They live in Illinois now. So that's one finished object.
I thought it was funny when Adam opened it. He put it on, and then he was like, "Are there different sizes?" And Mom said, "Yeah, they're slightly different sizes." And then Dad had put his on, and you could tell that Adam liked the size that his was, so he did not want to give it to Dad to try his size. Dad didn't care. I thought they fit great.
My son lives in Arizona, so it's kind of desert camouflage color too.
Okay, here's one of my finished objects. It's a cord wrap for Mom. She requested this. I made it. She requested this as her Christmas present. Guess what it's made out of?
My favorite material.
Mom's favorite fabric. I didn't know that she had this sequestered away today. I was looking for this exact charging cable this morning, and it was not to be found.
It was in the cord wrap.
It was in the cord wrap in a brand new room that I would not expect to find it in. There's a little one. I wasn't gonna make any big ones. I made some of these little ones for other people too after I realized how easy it was to make these. I wasn't gonna make any of these big ones, but then as I was leaving, I was trying to wrap up my sewing machine cord, and I needed a big one, and I didn't have one. That's another one.
Okay, my second finished object is another hat. I've been knitting a lot of hats out of fingering weight yarn. This one is the yarn Helping Hippos 2018 by Lolo Did It, and part of the money went to support a disaster, I think maybe a hurricane in North Carolina, South Carolina. And that was a present for my daughter.
I have socks out of the same
Shorty
gosh.
socks.
There's fabric on it. Out of the same colorway. A little light in here is maybe not. I didn't plan good, so we're doing this at nighttime. We don't have the best light. But it matches my socks perfectly. Okay. Here's my other finished objects. I made these today.
Wow.
Okay, so I had a goal this year that I did not meet to make fabric gift bags. But I did make a lot of them. I didn't make as many as I wanted to, but I did make a lot of them, and I gifted them over the holidays, and I think they were well received.
Yes, they were.
This one has kitty cats on it.
That one I love.
That one has owls.
Yes, it's cute.
It's cute.
They're very festive.
There are lots of patterns for these. I realized we should store them flat.
Yeah.
Because I had some that I had just thrown in, and they were like this, and then when I undid them, they were really wrinkly.
Yeah.
At the top.
Store them like that. I would fold the bottom in, and then I'd store them flat.
Okay, well that's what. These are just going to stay here until we have another occasion to gift them.
Okay.
We got a lot of them. Okay, that one's done. You got anything else?
I have a tea towel. I made a lot of knitted tea towel out of Dishy. This is, I think, Sunshine Multi. And my husband raises lemons, and we typically harvest the lemons around Christmas and give it to our friends. They're the Myers lemons. And Sarah Jane made gift bags that had a lemon fabric, and my husband raised the lemons, and I made a tea towel, and my son donated hot pads that had lemons on them.
What does it smell like?
I don't know. It's not been washed yet.
It's got a really distinctive smell.
I don't know. So that was one thing I finished.
Oh, I wanted to show, I made a quilt for my mom for Christmas, but it's too big to show. It's actually too big for her bed also, but
It's fine for my bed.
she put it on there anyway.
It's great.
It's the snowflake quilt. We'll put a picture of it right here. So that's what the snowflake quilt looks like. It is a pattern by Modern Handcraft, who's a designer in Indianapolis. And the pattern was for a throw size quilt with that offset snowflake. So I thought I definitely have the skills to do the math that it takes to enlarge this to a king size. Did not have those skills. But I did make a gigantic quilt.
It's fine. It works great.
I had to add another column on the side because it's offset, so it was like all the way off the bed. But anyway, that's the finished object that I made.
And she said it's got a big white section for the snowflake, and she
Oh,
said
yeah.
that's so our pup, who I'm petting right down here, has a lot of white hair and sheds a lot, can still sleep in bed and the hair won't show because it's a white snowflake. Okay, another finished object. This was
Oh my gosh.
a big shawl.
I feel like we should like run it.
It is called Gently Stirred, Never Shaken. And the yarn is the Baah yarn, B-A-A-H. And I do the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup on Ravelry. And this was my first owl, which is a big project for Imaginary Points. And I actually, I don't know if you can tell, I ran out of yarn.
I could not tell.
So this, the pink, see, has that goes into the more, the bright pink that goes into the lighter pink and gold, has more stripes than this end does. I did
No
not,
one's ever gonna know
I know.
that.
and the yarn's kind of expensive, so I wasn't going to go buy a whole new thing of yarn for that.
Even the owl police didn't know. They still gave you your
No.
owl. Okay, my last one that I have finished, ta-da, is this one, which we actually made together. Kind of. This is an Irish chain quilt pattern, but the important thing about it are these dark navy squares that are in the middle, because Mom and I made them. They're sun prints, and Mom was visiting me, and it's a special, it's called cyanotype fabric, or you can get cyanotype paper. Basically what happens is the papers, or the fabric in this case, is treated with a chemical, so then you can lay items on top of it and expose it to sunlight for just like 2 minutes. It really wasn't very long. And then the area around wherever you laid has a reaction with the light of the sun, and then you have to rinse that chemical off to preserve the image. So we made
Here, let me show you this one. This is knitting needles laid on the fabric.
Mom was very very thoughtful about how she made hers. Mine are less thoughtful. Like, this is safety pins that I just dumped on there. Where's the one that, oh, this is my dog's collar and her favorite ball. This one on the back though is cool. You should show that one. I didn't use all of the fabric on the front because it's a pattern, but this particular sun print, Mom actually knitted for her to create a sun print with the express purpose of creating a sun print. She knitted this giant open weave. She made this pattern. She like invented it with this big, well, maybe it was a stitch that you knew, but she literally was like, I need some yarn. I'm making this right now. And she made this giant open weave, knitted, sorry, not woven. And then pinned it to her fabric so that it would make a sun print. And I just love it. I have so many good memories of doing that activity with you. Now I have a whole quilt of it.
Okay, this was knit a long time ago, but it's a finished object. And when she said good memories, I'm going to share it. It is knit out of alpaca that came from Peru because my daughter worked as in the Peace Corps in Peru, and her father went to visit her and brought me yarn. and it was just this huge ball, different
so.
colors, and I kind of separated the colors out into darker and lighter and did, it's kind of striped. You can't really see it there, maybe a little bit, but it's got a kind of striped tone to it with that.
Yeah, I can see it.
So that's my Peru.
It looks perfect with your outfit.
Thanks.
Okay, that's all my finished objects.
Okay,
You got more?
nope. That's
Really?
all I'm showing right now.
Oh, there's way more. Okay, next is whips. This is my one from today. I'm disappointed I didn't finish it today. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Just stay up late and finish it.
You can take those home. I don't use them.
This is my dish cloth for the Knitters Brewing Company. What's it called? Knitters Brewing Company Football-O-Rama, whatever it's called. I have been in second place.
You're in second? I'm in
No.
second.
I have been in the top 5 of this imaginary football whatever the whole time. I have not watched a football game in probably 3 years, but I pick, and I'm doing outstanding. And now Mom is beating me.
I'm second. She's third.
I'm tied with like 3 people for 5th place actually.
Oh,
But it's my week. I'm coming up soon, so I have to make a dishcloth. I ran out of yarn, so I had to join, and I tied a knot. And Mom was like, "What'd you say? Knots aren't
Knots won't-
secure. Knots aren't secure." But I can't do a rush. I can't do the join with this cotton thread. It always comes. I'm always like, okay, I got it, and I pull, and it just comes apart. So anyway, that's my dish towel. This is the pattern corrugated.
Mhm.
It's real hard. I messed it up here and here, and I don't know what I'm on right now. It's hard to tell what
you
side you're
knit
on.
2 rows and purl 1 row, I think.
I know there's some trick with like what end
This is my dishcloth.
this thing is on.
This is, I think it's called the Squidge, but it's basically, and it's a free pattern, so I'm not giving anything away. It's knit 4, purl 4, all the way across, knit 4, purl 4, all the way across, then purl 4, knit 4, all the way across, purl 4, knit 4. And it makes a kind of little variegated thing. And again, this is the dishy. I really like the dishy
I should have
cotton.
done that one.
And I'm working on it.
Seems easier.
And it is in, the bag it's in is my old Sockaholic bag from Knitters Brewing Company.
Did you win that too?
No, I bought that. I think it cost $5. It
$5.
was a great deal.
Okay, this whip is on top. I'm doing, for the first year, I'm doing the Bonnie Hunter. She's kind of a famous scrap quilter, and every year on Black Friday, she reveals the first clue for her mystery quilt. Tons of people do this. If you follow Quiltville Mystery on Instagram, you can see. So the first clue was to make these 4 patches. She's also very secretive about what the instructions are, so I won't say how many I have to make, but it is a number near 200 of these 4 patches. So she tells you what colors to get, and she tells you how to make. She has a lot of like instructions on her blog when she tells you about the clues. So this is clue number 1. I was supposed to finish this the first week of December. I'm not done yet. And then I was supposed to make a number, again, near upwards of 200 of half square triangles. And then there's another half square triangle clue, and there were some strip clues. I'm really behind. She gave a bonus clue on New Year's, yesterday, on New Year's Day. She was like, well, we're all done with everything, so let's just give another clue. And I was like, I'm not done with anything. But I'm gonna try it, and they're not my colors, but I got a bunch of this color, this raspberry color, in my
Raspberry's
Advent,
my color.
in my advent calendar, and then I do have a lot of blue, so I was like, well, maybe I should just try it, and if I don't like it, it's fine. Who cares? So that's one of my whips. It's called the Frolic Quilt. You can also see that hashtag Frolic Quilt, and you'll see everyone's. So nobody knows what we're making. That's the point. Sorry, mystery quilt. Nobody knows except the designer what the quilt actually looks like. You just make everything that she tells you along the way, and then she'll at some point give us instructions for how to put it all together. And they'll all look the same if you use the colors, which is why I was like, I don't want to make the same quilt as everyone else. But then I was thinking about like, maybe in the future, you know, archaeologists, the quilt historians will be like, there was an era when people across the world all made these very similar. I mean, everyone's scraps are different, but they all do the same colors. Like, I don't know. I feel like it'll be interesting. Anyway, that's the Frolic quilt, work in progress.
Okay, I've had this work in progress forever and ever and ever. So this is the Hue Shift Afghan, and this is the one, I just finished this one. So I've got
How many do you have?
5. Well, I am on my, this is the 3rd square. There's the first square, and here's,
We have tried to hold this up before.
I know, here's
And
the
not been
second
successful.
square.
Hold on. This has to go to this.
Here's the second square, and I'm working on the 3rd one. So a little bit there.
And then a black border.
Yes, and then it'll have a black border around it. We may be showing this as long as we podcast. I don't work on it a lot.
We don't know how long that will be. Okay, this is my last whip that I have here. These are half square triangle blocks, and they feature a commercial pattern, and then the other side is an ice dye. I got really into ice dyeing this fall. You just take the fabric, kind of scrunch it up, and then you dump a ton of ice on it. Like anywhere that's not, any fabric that's not covered in ice is not going to be a color. So you want to get ice all over it, and then you sprinkle on top of the ice powdered dye. So it's special dye, and you treat the fabric beforehand. So the dye actually chemically reacts with the fibers in the fabric, and then so it's a very secure. It's not like RIT dye, but you sprinkle the powdered dye over the ice. Then as the ice melts, you know, like in tie-dye, you dissolve the powder in the bottle and then squirt it on. This way, just as the ice melts, the powder gets like carried down, and it makes these very cool. I wish I could find one that's like super marbled.
This one.
It makes these cool like watercolor effects on the fabric that I'm really into. I think I probably made a mistake by, I really like this one, by cutting it up, because if you have, I mean, my half yard of this was just like all watercolored, and then I sliced it up, but I wanted to use it for something, and I'm gonna use it to make a little quilty out of that I'm super excited about. That's my last whip, Mom.
Okay. I will carry us for a while. Okay.
Home team.
So, I do the Pigskin Party at Down Cellar Studio podcast, and this was one of their exclusive items this year. It's sheep and leg warmers.
It's adorable.
It is, and it came with some fabric. The fabric is from
Came with
Knitter's
yarn.
Brewing Company,
It came with yarn.
and it is also sheep in leg warmers.
color.
And I will talk about that. That came from the Kate Ritchie. This is going to be a hitchhiker shawl. This will be the 3rd hitchhiker I've made. I started it yesterday on the 1st, and you can see I've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth, and I think there's supposed to be 42 teeth. But I know there's a lot of shawl patterns out there, but I just really like how this one shows the colors well. So, and I like making it. So that's something I just started on the 1st. Another thing I just started on the 1st is my husband's cousin is going to have a granddaughter this month. And I started, this is Star of the Day hat. And it makes a star eventually, the hat, the top looks like it. This pattern was in one of, gosh, it was years and years ago. There was like a page day knitting calendar, and it had patterns sometimes, and this was one of the patterns. And this yarn is, I bought it from a local yarn store that's now out of business. It's shades of pink and purple and peach, and it was on sale. It's a baby merino DK. It was originally $6.99. I have no idea how much I paid for it, but much less than that when Knitwits went out of business.
$6.99.
And this is in a bag made by my favorite bag maker in my favorite fabric. Isn't that cool?
Noodlehead, open wide zip pouch. It's a really easy tutorial. I actually just made one of those. I made several of those, but I helped a friend of mine make one with some ice dye fabric to give as a gift. Ice dye fabric does make an awesome outside of a pouch because it's like a big cut, so it kind of shows it off a little bit.
Then this came from Peru too,
That's the best
From-
condition
from my.
Peruvian market basket ever.
So this is the tasting menu shawl by Stephanie Lotvin, Telly Bean Knits, and I just got clue 1, and I was
Is it a
trying to.
mystery?
Yes.
Wow.
I was trying to do this while we were watching TV last night, and it is not a pattern to start off with watching TV. So I think this is right, but it was a garter tab cast on, and I stopped. But I will show you my colors. Mine is the Spice Kit, so I've got 3 different shades of gray. I have 3 different shades of green. All this yarn is by Lolo Did It. And I have 3 spicy
Whoa.
shades of red
I was not expecting that.
for spice. And then I have the big main color is this dark gray,
What is it gonna be?
a shawl. So
Did she pick your colors? Did you pick your colors?
There were several. That was a kit called Spice. There was a kit called Sour, a kit called Sweet, a kit called Umami, that's savory, a kit called Salty, and a kit called Palette Cleanser.
Ooh.
So there were several kits, but I picked the spicy ones. I like those colors.
I like the formatting of that pattern. It's really well. It's like a graphic designer made it. Is that all your whips?
That's all the whips I'm going to talk about right now.
We're cruising. Okay. Next, we have purchases
Okay.
and new projects.
Okay.
You got one?
I have some sort of. I told you I went to the Kate retreat, and it was at the Allerton Estate in Illinois, which is really in the middle of nowhere, but it was a great retreat. I am not going to go next year because next year it's going to be, last year it was in October. This coming year it's going to be in November, and we are really busy around here in November. We have my husband's brother comes home to visit. We have a lot going on, so I do not think I can get away for a weekend in November. But when it comes back, I think it just moved to November because of some scheduling things, and the next year they're hoping to move it back to the September, October time, and I would definitely go again. This time when I went, first, the estate is so pretty. The grounds are beautiful. My room was on the 3rd floor, and there's no elevator, but it was a very nice room.
Private room?
Private room, but the
Shared
bath
bathroom?
was down the hall. And everything was clean, everything was nice. I looked out onto the reflecting pool, and I will show you some things about that, but they gave away so much stuff. This was the bag that came with it.
I love that keychain.
And there's a keychain. Everything desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul. So that is on there, and that is on the keychain. They also, because the people that run it are dyers, they dyed some yarn exclusive, and Stephanie from Telly Bean did a pattern. This is exactly what I saw out my window every morning. I saw green fields, and I saw red brick. So, and I got a little yarn. You can't see that, but it says Kate. So that will be a great memory of the Kate retreat. And that's who designed the tasting menu one
This
I'm
is
doing
soft
too.
yarn,
I know.
but it's tiny.
Yes, it's
It's
finger
like the
weight.
only size.
Yes. So there, I'm going to show you, I won this yarn. Everybody won tons of stuff. Isn't that pretty? bought this yarn.
Did you have a project in mind when you bought it?
No, I think a hat maybe. It's a
I
pretty
love it.
color.
It's gorgeous.
I won all this yarn, and I mean, if you were going to color work,
Put it from.
isn't that pretty choices?
Whoa.
I'm gonna let you put that away.
What?
I won this yarn, which is pretty wild colors,
Cashmere.
but it is superwash, 50% superwash merino and 50% silk. And I have 2 skeins of this.
Looks like a funfetti birthday cake.
It does, but feel it.
Ooh.
I know,
What's it made of?
silk. Silk. I won, and that was from Euphoric Fibers. I also won this from Euphoric Fibers.
Ooh. Euphoric. That's so cute.
Suburban Stitcher, Diane from Suburban Stitcher was there, and I bought that from her. I'm going to make a hat out of it. Well, that's really blowing out. There, Suburban Stitcher. There, tilt it that way. Isn't it pretty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this was the second, the
Moody Blues.
the Nodi yarn I showed before.
This-
Do you still have that?
That one?
It actually came, no, the one before that. Nope, the one before that.
Oh my gosh.
Nope. Oh. Here. It came as a 2 yarn set. Isn't that
This
pretty?
is all the yarn that I have.
I had it. There. Isn't it pretty?
It is pretty. Oh, now
Okay.
you're gonna give it to me?
Now I'm going to give it to you. And then this was kind of a luxury purchase. Twisted does yarns mainly for shawls, but it's a real gradual change from one color to the next. It's not a abrupt one. So that's grays and purples by Twisted. I don't know what shawl I'm going to make from that. That's so pretty.
Tasty. Warlock. It's called Warlock.
I am. And then I bought this from Knitterly Things, and this is called, it makes a Chevron Love Slouch Hat. Look at those colors. And it came with the pattern and with a palm. And it's one of those snap-on ones. Isn't that pretty? And I've got it in a bag that I love, made by one of my favorite makers in my favorite fabric.
That one turned out good. I want to know how they make these. I'm sure there's a tutorial. Like, I understand this fabric and something's in here.
This one I bought mainly for the name. It's pretty, it's sparkly. I don't usually do sparkles. It's a DK.
What's the name? Stay out of my uterus. Whoa.
I have a niece that I think will really enjoy that. Don't you think Jill would like a hat
The
with?
name of it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out what niece you were.
I think Jill would enjoy that. Then I bought this. This is a bulky yarn by Yarn Geek. And it's winter pin oak. My husband loves pin oaks. I don't know if he wants a bulky hat yarn, but I thought it was pretty.
He likes Soul Oaks. Oh, they're so squishy, Mom. Is this what they're calling bulky nowadays? In my day, bulky really meant chunky.
Okay. So I have, shall I keep going?
This is very squishy. Sure.
Okay. So in here, I have an Advent set that I got from Fiberknit Dye Works. This is the first day. It's a light gray.
Two.
And it, I don't have them in order here. I am going to knit Blended Love, which is a pattern on Ravelry, but I don't see day 2. but it gradually goes from one color to the next. This is day 17, so you can see it's got some greens in it. This is day 18. It takes the lighter greens and starts moving to brown.
Every time.
So that's 24 10-gram minis. And then I have one more thing to show. I did another.
Every time we podcast here, the landline rings.
I did another Advent calendar. So this one was to benefit suicide prevention, and it was kind of expensive, and it is benefiting Project Semicolon, which a semicolon is like when a sentence could stop, but it doesn't, it continues, and that's people that have had suicide attempts sometimes choose to get a tattoo with a semicolon to indicate their story didn't stop, it continued. And that is, I am a psychiatric nurse that works with children and adolescents, so that's close to my heart. So when I heard about it, I thought, I am going to buy this. Well, little did I know this was going to be extremely popular. So I was done at work, it was like 5 o'clock, and I was done seeing patients, and that was when it opened. So I just went and I bought it. It sold out in 8 minutes.
Oh my God.
8 minutes
Mom,
it sold
what
out.
are the odds?
So it was a little bit pricey, but I was really excited to get it, to support it. But then it came, and oh my gosh, I got rose gold from Chelsea in New Jersey that does the Chelsea Pearls podcast, and I've heard of this and heard of this and heard of this. I never thought I would own any. I got, this is from Stranded, Amy Florence from England. I watch her podcast all the time. I never thought I would get any of her yarn.
I love your overalls. Hi, Amy Florence.
This is, I'm choosing to show it. It's by Plank and Stella, and it's called Your Story Isn't Over Yet.
Huh, weird, Mom. You picked all pinky ones to show. I see you have a lot
No.
of other colors in there, too.
Yes. Leading Men Fiber Arts. Keep Going. No, there's
so many colors.
There's
It's
so many
just
colors.
her that she picked all pink ones.
Well, those are just people that I really was so impressed that I got stuff from. There was another one in here that was really pretty I wanted to show.
They're all really pretty.
They all are pretty. I am so thrilled. I would have been thrilled to support the cause.
Oh, look at that tag.
I would have been thrilled to support the cause without getting all of these makers yarns, but I am just beyond thrilled to have spun right round, to have yarn from so many talented makers. I am just thrilled.
That was a
So,
good one.
Yes.
Good get.
So my advice is, if you are thinking about an Advent calendar, I had a lot of fun with mine. The FiberKnit Dye Works one was very reasonably priced, and I think I'll love the Blended Love wrap that I make from it. This one was surprise after surprise that really made me catch my breath. So I was very happy with that purchase. And if you're thinking about a retreat, the Kate, which stands for Knitting at the Estate in Allertown, run by Leading Men Fiber Arts, was a great time. I should say, they have classes, of course, and the class I took was by Laura Linneman of the Knit Girls, and it was about different kinds of yarn, and she passed around so many samples. I felt like I really learned a lot there, so it was a great time.
Good class. I had an advent calendar too that Mom got for me. It was the Countdown to Fun from Crimson Tate, and I got to open a fat quarter of fabric every single day, and it was excellent. I also highly recommend it, but all my fat quarters are in California. They're not here, so. But I did get to go to Crimson Tate on a recent trip to Indianapolis, and I got some of my favorite fat quarters. So this is a lot of the fat quarters in my Countdown to Fun were from this collection by Anna Marie Horner. So I actually have this one in a couple colorways. Can you see? It's like butterflies. You'll just look at the lights through it. These butterflies are a favorite. These are my super favorite. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about them. It's called Cacophony, and it is these birds. Can you see?
Yeah.
They're glary.
Yeah, no, I can
Can
see.
you see all the birds? Aren't they like so cool? It's so cool. I'm like really into it.
I think.
But I only got a fat quarter of it, so I had to go buy a whole yard because this, like, it was not enough to just have a fat quarter. These birds are gigantic. And then they were having holiday fabric on sale, so I also got some fabric that
This is your favorite.
I-
This is my favorite.
this is your
You'll love it too.
your random viewer's favorite. It's some sheepies.
And they're
They're
knitting.
knitting. You see them knitting? They're very cute.
They are adorable. They're in sweaters and they're knitting.
Mom has a local yarn shop, and the lady makes bags, and she had made bags out of this fabric that I had bought to make bags with, but I never made bags. I never actually was gonna make those bags, and so she was like, "I'll take the fabric," and I was like, "Great!" So I brought home all my, I'm gonna call it aspirational sheep fabric, to give to this kind woman at this yarn shop, and Mom was like, "Are you gonna give her this one? Do you have to give her this one?" And I was like, "If you want it to be a bag, we have to give it to her because I'm out."
And then she goes and buys more sheep.
Yeah, and then I immediately bought another yard of sheep. We can give this to her too. I mean, it's really cute though.
It is.
This little mini sheep. Also in Indianapolis, I went to a plant store called Grounded, and it was a beautiful store. But I couldn't buy plants in Indianapolis to take to California. So I did buy these matches. Look what's on them. A brown mushroom. And my house is heated with a wood burning stove, so I light a one match fire every night. So I needed this quantity of matches. It was only $3. I really liked it. That's all my new purchases. Well, not all of them, but
Are we going to talk about what we're going to plans?
yeah, most of my fabric went with my brother back. He drove, and I'm flying, so I can't check as much items. So I bought considerably more fabric than this, but this is all that I have left here to show you. What are you doing next? What are the upcoming projects?
Okay, so I am in Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup.
Gryffindor.
I'm Gryffindor. Last term we won the House Cup, but not Quidditch. Slytherin won Quidditch. So I did an owl. You saw that earlier, and I'm going to do an owl this time too. I have proposed a short sleeve fingering weight sweater in her size, and it is called Mountain Range. If you look that up in Ravelry,
It's awesome.
it's bottom up, and once it gets about here, there is intense color work front and back of mountains, which are also on the sleeve. So that meant I had to pick colors. And so when I was
This is
at the
hard.
Kate retreat, I asked everyone their opinions. Amber from Yarn Hoarder, the Leading Men Fiber, anybody randomly walking by. And
This was before though. We had to go to the Leading Men Fiber Arts website, which has all their colors, and pick from. They have like the whole book of colors. So I had already spent several hours of my life deciding what combinations I liked, and then Mom took those to the experts.
Yes. So this is Fortune Teller, and it's a navy blue, a little bit variegated, and that's going to be the body.
Dark background. That was a hard call too. If you go look at the sweater patterns, some of them are light background, some of them are dark background. If we don't like how it turns out, Mom will just rip it all out and make it again, so it's no big deal.
So the lighter color is Moonlight, and it is gray, and there you can almost see there's
can't
little
see. This
flecks
is the
of
little
blue,
flecks.
tiny, tiny flecks of blue in the moonlight.
It's perfect.
So that is in my desert tortoise.
Mm-hmm.
One desert, one tortoise, one chance. Joshua Tree National Park bag, which is where she works.
My newest thing that I'm excited about that I have literally nothing to show for was a gift from Mom for Christmas. She surprised me. So I was talking her ear off about doing this Bonnie Hunter mystery quilt. And Mom got me a subscription to the Murder mystery quilt along, which is completely separate. So this designer has designed a pattern, and she actually sends, I think it's going to be like chapters of a book. She's done this a lot. So if you look up Murder mystery quilt, you'll see them. But so she has a detective main character who travels around the world to solve crimes, I think. I'll let you know.
I think it's kind of a cozy mystery. I'm not sure she's traveling around to solve crimes. I think she's like a
she happens
Jessica
to be
Fletcher
there.
Murder She Wrote. People just drop dead wherever she is.
Dangerous. That's my kind of book though. So then you get clues and you don't know what the quilt is. You're trying to solve it says, so the quilt solved the crime is their hashtag. So the quilt, so the clues, I don't know. Solve the crime. So they did send out colors, and it's a lot of colors that I have in my stash. So Mom kept trying to pressure me to buy.
She was buying anyway.
But it's set in Egypt, so there's a lot of browns, there's a lot of sandy. I live in a desert too, so I've aspired to make landscape inspired quilts. So I feel like I've just collected a lot of desert colors. So I'm gonna see. It's gonna be.
There's a lot of colors.
It's ombre style, so it's supposed to fade. So it might be pretty important what shade. I don't like this one. I need to just like go into the Bonnie Hunter mystery. I was like, well, let me just wait and see. What it's gonna, how much work this is gonna be before I really decide to do it. So after 5 weeks of clues, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. It's just half square triangles and 4 patches. This one, I saw the ones from last year, which was Hawaii, and they had. Hawaiian quilts are famous for like intricate botanical applique, and I was like, I can do that, but I don't know what Egyptian quilts are famous for, so
Mummies.
We're gonna
just
find
wrap them around.
And so there's gonna be traditional piecing, foundation paper piecing, which is my jam, and some applique, and some English paper piecing, which is handwork, not my jam. So it's going to be a good experience. We'll just see. Maybe I'll have something to show you the next time we podcast.
We will not podcast again until June. Sarah Jane is going to the Galapagos Island in May, which I often go see her in April, May, but she is going to be in South America. So I am going to go to Joshua Tree, California in June.
In the summer. Such a nice time of year for the desert. Sorry, Mom. But that'll give us a lot of time to get stuff done.
Yes.
We can make big progress.
I don't know that I will bring everything I've gotten done out to Joshua Tree.
Well,
but I'll have some things done.
I'm about to
Maybe I'll
experiment.
have a sweater and you could wear it.
It's short sleeves.
Yes.
Yes.
I've never done. I don't do a lot of sweaters, and I've never done a fingering weight sweater, so we'll see.
I've never done a bottom-up sweater. Mom goes, how many sweaters have you knit anyway? And I was like, several. I've knit 5, 6 sweaters. I've knit several sweaters, including one for an adult. So there. But never from the bottom up, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But I wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to see it. Okay, now I have to pack all my stuff so that I can fly back to California, and Mom can just unpack all of her stuff because she doesn't have to be cleaned up for holiday parties anymore. So we'll see you in June. A Happy New Year.
Happy 2020 from Paradise.
Bye.
Bye. Your tummy hurts.
I think she's in perfect health. Sandy, do you have a hard life? Sandy, over here. It's me, your friend. Can you lift your head up? Sandy, the people on the internet want to see you.
Sandy.
You're too snuggled. Oh my gosh, she's like, leave me alone.